I have never had so many people request a recipe until this one. If there's a meal you need to make for dinner, to meal prep, the holidays, or to impress some people, if you were lost on what that would be, you just found it. This tofu tikka masala is incredibly authentic, while sprinkled with secrets, tips, and tricks that will only level up the flavor matrix as we encourage the duel between sweet and spicy. Before you get started on this recipe, the very first thing you need to determine is what plant protein and or main ingredient you want to use. This is important because the main ingredient needs its own seasoning wardrobe to amplify its authority within the recipe. Tofu, pumfu, cauliflower, soy curls, or even a store-bought plant chicken substitute are all solid options that would require a little make ahead prep time, as you want the marinade to sit with the ingredients for several hours. This way, they do their dance and the seasoning gets encapsulated. Traditionally in tikka masala, yogurt is used to marinate the main ingredient. I choose not to use a store-bought non-dairy yogurt because I'm cheap. I mean, there's plenty of other reasons too. That's just the main one. Therefore, I use a coconut cream, not a coconut milk in this part of the recipe. If you're not allergic, the coconut cream has the perfect consistency. You also can't taste the coconut within the recipe. Also, it adds a natural sweetness into the recipe that plays into that duality I spoke about earlier. If you are allergic, my second option would be blending up some cashews and water. I'm also choosing to use lemon zest in the recipe rather than the more practical option in tikka masala, which is lemon juice. While lemon juice adds flavor, it also helps tenderize the main ingredient, therefore allowing the spices to penetrate while it marinates. Since we're replacing the chicken with plants like tofu, we don't need to tenderize it, which would deconstruct its texture. Although we do want the flavor, and lemon zest is going to provide that without instantly breaking down our tofu. Within the marinade, in my opinion, there's really only 2 seasonings that you could find swaps for and still make a pretty authentic dish. Forgive my pronunciation here, but I think it's pronounced Kashmiri red chili powder. I swapped with basic red chili powder and smoked paprika, therefore providing a tad bit more heat, very vibrant color, and a bit of that roasted, almost grilled flavor to the tofu. Kasuri methi, also known as dried fenugreek leaves, could be swapped for, believe it or not, maple syrup. Just in small amounts though, because it's really similar, but not directly spot on. Once your tofu is marinated, you have a few cooking options. You can go with a skillet, you can air fry it, you can even cook it in an oven on some skewers. I prefer option 3. Roasting seems to provide the best texture since it's going to reduce some of that excess water that's within the tofu, but also it gives you like those little crispy bits on the edges. I made this recipe to intentionally have enough sauce that you could shower in. For our masala, we're starting out with some finely diced onions. I used a red one. I would have preferred a sweet one since we're starting the recipe out caramelizing the onions. And if you're using a sweet one, they caramelize really good and naturally enhance the recipe without added sugar. In various recipes, we toasted our spices. The best thing to keep in mind is just to keep moving, as we don't want to burn our spices. And anything that sticks to the bottom, we can scrape that up once we get our tomato sauce in there. Speaking of that, within our tomato sauce holds a secret ingredient. It's a roasted red bell pepper, adding bold, caramelized, and scorched flavor. Now this ingredient isn't traditional to masala, but these undercover enhancers are the type of thing that I learned from my mom that will help positively distinguish your recipe from the crowd. The tomatoes, you don't need to blend. If you like a chunkier sauce, you could simply dice them along with the red pepper and add them in to simmer and thicken, just like you would do the sauce. Once your sauce is ready, you can add in the tofu and somewhat allow it to braise within the sauce, giving it its last savor before you serve it. The most successful tip I can provide you in this recipe, especially the sauce, is to take your time. This sauce is forged in time. So if you have made a masala and you feel like a grandparent, relative, maybe even a restaurant has done it just a bit better than you, most likely the key you forgot to add is the essence of time. This recipe is linked in the description, or head over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Interested in checking out more of my videos? Something should pop up on screen somewhere. Not exactly sure where. I just know I can feel it. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until next time, believe in good. Peace.